All right, can you believe it? You've almost made it to the end of chapter one here. So let's, before I just go into those other sorts of programs that read HTML files, let me just say one more thing about what I did in the last video, and that is when I opened up this link here. So you would copy and paste that URL into a tab on your browser there. What I just did here was a right mouse click and I chose View Page Source. Now the reason that it looks so large here is because I have zoomed in on the text deliberately so that you could see it, right? You probably saw something like that. I have this zoom feature working for me here. What I want to emphasize is, again, I've seen students go a long time trying to figure out things and not take advantage of this right mouse click and view page source option. And if you're trying to figure out how to do something, it's often helpful to go look and say, well, how did somebody else do it, right? So being able to view the page source of a web page is a nice trick to add to your bag of tricks. All right, what are some other pieces of software that read web pages? The first one is a browser, but there's also something called a web crawler. There we go. A web crawler is a computer program, or sometimes called a bot, that searches and indexes content on the internet. So it works by downloading and scanning websites for keywords, meta tags, related links. All of that stuff that I just said, keywords, meta tags, and links, that's all HTML. So if you want to create web pages or web applications that can be discovered by web crawlers, which is what Google would use or what Bing would use or any other sort of search engine, then you have to know some HTML. It's the HTML that you add to a web page that makes it discoverable by a machine, right? We add tags to make the page more discoverable by some sort of automation. When we talk about coding, sometimes, look down here, look down there we go, right below me, sometimes you see this symbol, the angle bracket, the slash, and then the other angle bracket. We saw that when we saw characters that looked like that when we were viewing HTML source. That's why this is the logo for coding, because HTML is so incredibly pervasive and common. The web crawlers that gather up information about websites, they're not magic. They only work because programmers write HTML according to well-known standards and best practices. And look at that, I made an edit on the fly there. I had a typo in my slide. All right, so that's another bit of software that will read a web page. What else is there? Well, there's also something called a screen reader. Now, screen readers are a form of what's known as an assistive technology. That is to say, it's a technology that's usually used to assist some person who has a disability. So a screen reader would interpret text and HTML and translate it to audible output or to Braille output. So a person that did not have the ability to see could consume that web content. And as you can imagine, screen readers are essential for persons who are blind, and they can also be just generally useful to persons with other disabilities. Some screen readers work as an extension or an add-on to a browser, while others are just pieces of software that exist on their own instead of a browser. As we just saw with website crawlers, the quality of a screen reader's interpretation of a page will depend on the conscious and deliberate effort of the programmer to write good quality HTML code that adheres to well-known standards and best practices. So that's to say, that is part of the duty of the web developer to not just think solely in terms of, well, does it look okay to me? Does it work for me? You have to ask yourself a bigger question. Will this be accessible to other people? And whether they have disabilities or not, you have to ask about that question. Will what I am creating be accessible to other people? All right, you made it to the end of chapter 1. So it's time for a break. You go get a snack or something. Please do like this channel, subscribe to the channel. You can find me with the @FoxMIS department handle. I have that on the screen here. I hope you enjoyed this first little chapter. There's more to come. See you soon.